Hello, Councillor. How you doing?
Good morning, Sean. I'm delighted to see you. Thank you again for agreeing to do this one more time with Feeling.
My pleasure.
It's really, you know what, it's really beneficial for my residents. I found that, certainly with COVID, our office hasn't slowed down. If anything, everything's picked up. But I think these videos have really been helping people connect to my office, which is great. I mean, that's what we want to do, right? We're here to help people. And so I appreciate it.
And we've had a lot of comments on Facebook, which I'm going to go through as we're chatting. So first off, the bypass, I know it seems to come up a lot. So let's just get right to it right away. The bypass, obviously construction has started.
So yeah, the Waterdown bypass, right? That's what you're talking. Yeah. So the Waterdown bypass, there are several sections that are under construction right now. Avonside, for instance, in the east part is finished and it's open and it is part of the bypass. Burke Street is another part of the bypass. It is completed down to Skinner. It's actually completed all the way down to Mountain Brow, but it's only open down to Skinner at this point. And then the construction will start on Mountain Brow probably towards the fall of this year, and then next year Waterdown Road. So then it will be open probably by the spring of 21. Burke Street will be open from Dundas Street all the way down. We also have the bypass is completed in the north section from Wimberley over to Babcock. And although you can't use it now, it's not open. The next phase of that is from Babcock Street over to Center Road. So that is under construction right now. And the next phase of that, which is connecting from Center Road going east over behind Alexander Place, and then it will curve down to where the tracks are and hook up to Parkside. That will be going out for tender in December, and construction will be starting in the spring of 2021. Right now, we've got archaeological digs going on back there. If you walk through Joe Sam's Park and you take that lovely boardwalk, as you come behind Alexander Place, you will see lots of little flags in the ground. Those are locates. If you go off into the woods, you will see lots of flags tied to trees. That's where the archaeological dig is happening. Union Gas has been back there. All of the service providers, because there's pipelines, there's all kinds of things back there. So there is lots happening on the bypass. You're not going to see, as you drive down Dundas Street or as you drive down an existing road, you're not going to see a bypass under construction because it's all happening off the main roads. And in many cases within the new subdivisions, which are not yet completed. So it's all going to, open in stages, and I personally can't wait for it to be done, and I'm sure neither can anyone else.
And speaking of roads, a couple of people asking about repairing the asphalt on Dundas Street, some potholes on side streets. What can you tell residents about any plans for repairing roads?
Yes, thank you. And I think the intersection that folks are referring to on Dundas Street and Clapperson Drive, which goes into the Walmart Plaza. And I thought I saw a comment. I know my staff monitor Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I don't. But there was a comment about, well, you'll never get a straight answer from her. Well, guess what, folks? I only give straight answers. So yes, the pavement is quite wonky in that area. And that is because there has been 4 water main breaks over the last 2 years. Some of the infrastructure in there obviously is quite old. They've had to do emergency repairs. And so the asphalt has been temporarily repaired. The crews were out there actually this week or last week taking measurements and looking at the road. And so there will be construction done for new pavement, which should bring the road back up to a safety standard. We have had a lot of complaints about that. So that's my straight answer. And hopefully that will suffice, right?
Yes. And then somebody asked, I'm not sure if you can, declaring Community Day each year where is devoted to supporting Waterdown businesses by Waterdown residents. I mean,
I'm sorry, did you say Community Day?
Yeah, Community Day. Is there a day that you can support? It says a day each year in which you can support Waterdown businesses. But I guess we can do that every day of the year.
Well, I would suggest you do that every day, folks, please. we don't need one particular day, but I will give a shout out to the Waterdown BIA. BIA stands for Business Improvement Area. And the BIA is an organization with a board of directors, of which I sit on, and every business within the core of Waterdown pays an amount to become a member of the BIA. Waterdown BIA, under the leadership of Susan Penny, just does an amazing job. And so, you know, there's numerous activities and events that are going on all the time that direct folks to come and shop in the BIA. And, you know, I will say that with COVID hitting so hard, please, everyone, come downtown, support all the businesses throughout Ward 15 in Flamborough. They need you right now. They really do. And I don't know, Sean, if you were out on any of the patios this past weekend.
We did go to a patio, but I won't say where. It wasn't in town.
Yeah, no, I know it was outside of town. Ward 15 goes right up to, in fact, I'm going to talk a little bit about the boundary of Ward 15 because some folks think that Ward 15 is only Waterdown. The area I'm responsible for, Ward 15 Flamborough, includes Waterdown, but it actually goes from the escarpment behind Walmart. It goes all the way over to Burlington and to Highway 6, and it goes all the way up to Guelph. And we share a border with Milton, and we share a border with Burlington, and we share part of a border with Dundas as well. And so we all work together. You know, I work with the councillors in Milton on some of their issues. They've got a big quarry issue going on right now in Burlington, in the Kilbride area. You know, issues there with theirs, with their residents, and also with the councillor in Aldershot, Calvin. And so we're working together on the Waterdown road improvements, and certainly working with a lot of residents on shared issues there. And again, like I say, it goes all the way up to Guelph. So tons of issues in Morriston, you know, that I work on with the folks up there as well.
And a couple people here, or one person says, I'm not sure if you have any influence over this, but I really appreciate all the signage and stoplights added to the entrance of Walmart LCBO Plaza. I'm trying to understand this question. Maybe I should preview this.
So I can partially help you by unpacking it a little bit.
Thank you. I'm not sure if they're asking for more lights.
I don't like to see you struggle, Sean. I'll help you.
I'm not sure if they're looking for more lights in the plaza or less.
Well, it may be, and I'm guessing here that within the plaza, certainly when you turn into to go to Walmart or Rona, excuse me, and you turn right, there's a number of stop signs that, you know, you kind of pull up and you stop, and then you pull up and stop. So there's, I think, 3 intersections that have stop signs there. That property within the Clapson Power Center, which it's called on both sides, is private property. And that property is owned by the developers. We, you know, definitely approve any of their plans, or do not approve any of their plans for things that they want to do when they're submitting their plan for their subdivision. So before everything is finished being built. During the course of things being built, because there's more building to be done out there, certainly they come to the city for, you know, site plans, and that includes stop signs, traffic lights, which our traffic engineers, you know, say whether they need them or not, and including the Clapson Drive, which, Lord, get it open. It's, you know, goes all the way through to connect Parkside.
That was a question.
The bridge is done. The bridge is done. It's just a question of getting all the final asphalt, which I believe they've got another top coat on it. Last time I talked to the developers, they had said they hope to have it open by September. They initially said July, you know, so but it's 2 years behind schedule. And, you know, I feel badly that all of these things, especially in Waterdown and throughout Flamborough, that, you know, I've been talking about for 5-6 years, many of them have been delayed. They're construction sites. There's not much we can do. Our area, particularly in Waterdown, Flamborough, is very, very rich with archaeological artifacts. And so when a dig is, an artifact archaeological assessment has to be done on any new development. And of course, if they do find something, you know, that could then take 2 years to do that dig and to catalog all the artifacts that are found. If they don't find a lot of artifacts, it may only take 4 months. And so when they start the project and they say it should be done in 2.5 years, the project, and then they get into it and there's archaeological issues, that adds another 2 years, which then becomes 4 to 5 years. So it's frustrating for everybody, but particularly for the residents. So I really appreciate everybody being patient. And even those who aren't patient.
Somebody came up to me and asked me if they, to put speed bumps on a road where a lot of kids play in a residential neighborhood, what would be would they have to get a petition signed up to, I think you said 70 signatures or something? Is it possible to do that?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. So again, it depends where the road is within a subdivision. So I'll give you an example of Longyear, for instance. If you get onto Longyear, which is in the core of Waterdown, it is not an arterial road like Hollybush. So yes, if it's within a residential area and you want to get a speed bump, you can come to the city through my office and request a petition. Our traffic engineers will do an assessment of the area where you want, people want to have the speed bumps. Actually, they're speed humps, not bumps. And there is a difference. And so the engineers will then put together the survey that will include some options for traffic calming, because what we're really talking about here is traffic calming. And then it's up to the residents to take that petition and go door to door, and you need to get a yes or a no from every resident that lives on that street. And if 70% want that speed hump put in, or more than one speed hump put in, then we will do that. And a perfect example of that is Braehead. On Braehead, which, yes, construction is going to be done. I believe they're starting within another 4 weeks to redo the intersection at Braehead, where it joins up to Parkside. There's some new water mains that need to be installed there to upgrade what's already there. And then they will be repaving it all the way down to Ryan's Way. And as well, I think there's 2 speed bumps going in, which again, we worked with all the residents in that stretch over the last 3 years. They went door to door, they got signatures. And then of course, when you get enough signatures, staff then go out and they do an assessment of where the best spot is to put these speed humps. And then they need to get the okay and the permission from the residents who live there to have this speed hump join across the road. They're noisy. Do they slow traffic down? Yes, they do, but they can be very noisy. We have them on Griffin Street. We have them throughout the core. And in each case, my office and traffic engineering have worked with the residents who live on that street to put together the petition. And in some cases, we've had meetings where, a speed hump is really not the best solution here, but we have other traffic calming options that we can do. And so we may have a public meeting. Now it would be a virtual meeting, but we want to get everybody's buy-in, because you don't want people living there who are so upset about having speed humps put in when they didn't want them.
Somebody asked, can something be done about the pile of donated items in the home hardware parking lot by the donation box?
Yeah, people, please do not put stuff at those donation boxes if they're full. They're not full, that's fine. The donation boxes are all on private property. And so, I would encourage people to go in and talk to the owner of Weeks. He's a lovely gentleman. He's very much involved in our community. Talk to the staff there. And, it's up to them to clear away all of the garbage. It's not up to the city. It's not city-owned property.
And somebody says, any new plans, initiatives, programs to support seniors? Also interested in an update regarding the new long-term care home plans timeline. Is there a new long-term care home coming to Waterdown?
Oh, yes. Okay. I had to think for a minute. I'll unpack the first one, which is on new programs for seniors. So there is a senior center, which is in the Waterdown Library. And I would highly recommend, if you're a senior and you're not a member, please reach out to them. Of course, right now the library and the senior center are closed, but you can go online. You can also connect through Flamborough Connects, which is an organization that does run senior programs. And, Amelia Steinberg and her staff, they're terrific. So I would really encourage people to reach out to Flamborough Connects. You can Google the name, you can, access them online, and they can certainly help you with that. The second part of that question, because I do want to make sure I give a direct answer here now, Sean. The second part of that question was on the long-term care facility, and I believe they're talking about Primacare, the complex that is going to be built out at the Clapson Power Center. Yes, that is still going ahead right now. They are still working on their plan of subdivision and their site plan and getting all the approvals that they need. It's a good 2 to 4 to 5 year process before they can even get shovels in the ground. And because it is related to healthcare, there's quite a bit of criteria in the design of the building and, inside and out, and how it fits into the community. There's a lot of guidelines to do with public health and to do with aging in place and, legislation through the province that has to be met. So it is a very long and involved process. There are 2 other complexes though. There is a retirement building that is going in on the corner of John Street and Hamilton Street. And I've talked about this before. It is right beside Waterdown Memorial Park, and it's going to be an absolutely beautiful retirement home. Very similar, if you go down Waterdown Road to Plains Road, right on Plains Road in that intersection, there is a beautiful retirement home there. And it is these same people who are building up in Waterdown. The other retirement condo building that's going in is where the old Shoppers Drug Mart was, which is now the Idea Room. And the for sale sign's out. The building is open. I'm not sure if the building's open or not. But
I think it's a geared to retirees, but anybody, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is, but it is geared to seniors, and it will be designed and developed to hopefully accommodate seniors. Because, I get a lot of calls, and I have in the 10 years, from seniors who need to downsize out of their home. They need a safe place. They need a 1-floor plan. They don't want stairs. And there has been nothing. There's been nothing really in town for them to be able to, to look at if they want to downsize. And they don't want to leave their community. They want to stay here. There's also the one that is just about finished that is on the corner of Hamilton Street South and Barton Street.
Yeah, the condo building, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful building. It's a local builder that's built it. And again, they've done a phenomenal job there.
And any hints, you were talking about Clapson's Corners, any hints on, you mentioned last time, there's something big coming there that's going to affect not only Waterdown and Hamilton, but the surrounding cities and communities too.
I can't say anything. We're still in talks. We're still in negotiations. And again, these things take a long time. L3 took us 2.5 years. The CHCH is building a new studio out there. We just finalized the site plan on that last week. Hopefully that will be starting this fall. There's WPE is a new company that is building on Dundas Street, just the other side of Shies. Give a shout out to Shies, fabulous place. They have been held back a bit by COVID when all construction sites were shut down. They're going to be open as well come the fall, and they're moving quite aggressively. And Stryker is now open. And so there's probably about 12 new companies that are in various stages of getting their permits and permissions. And then of course we have some others that we're negotiating with. So that's all I can say for now, Sean.
We'll have to wait.
Good try. That's another video coming up.
let's see. Yeah, a lot of people like constantly talk about speeding in town. I think you mentioned there's going to be a new combination police office and fire office or fire hall, right? Effectively.
Yes, yes, that was, we got the approval for the Police Services Board. I think that was 2 weeks ago that came in. On speeding, and I will come back to that, but on speeding, before I forget, uh, there is going to be a lot of signs going up where the reduction down to 40 kilometers has been approved by the province. Pardon me. There is so many signs across Hamilton, literally thousands upon thousands that are requesting the 40K signs be put into all the neighborhoods. You know, we're moving as fast as we can. Staff are getting them put up, but again, it's going to take probably 2 years. We've got a few in Waterdown already, and so we're looking forward to getting those done. Coming back to the police and fire station, the existing fire station on Parkside is staying, and that will be for the volunteer firefighters, and you know, it's fully operational and very busy. The full-time firefighter station will be going in, what we're looking at right now is near where Alexander Place is, where the new bypass is going to curve in behind. So where it goes from Center Road, behind North Lawn subdivision, and behind Alexander Place, and curves down to Parkside. It'll be somewhere along that corridor where it can service. It's not just for Waterdown, by the way. It is to service all of Flamborough. So Flamborough goes all the way over to Brantford. It's not just Flamborough in Ward 15. Flamborough itself is a massive, massive geographic area.
And somebody asked on here, any idea of how much the 40 an hour signs cost? 40 kilometers an hour signs would have cost? That would have been a city initiative in a city, right?
Well, it's a provincial initiative in that they had to provide the legislation to allow municipalities to bring in the 40 kilometers, which that all passed, I believe, in January. And so, you know, since then, yes, we are putting those signs up.
And then somebody asked about their shoes. There's a shoe place that closed down, and how can they get their shoes? Do you know about that?
Oh, you know what? I'll help you with that one too, Sean. I think what they're talking about is Tony's Shoe Repair.
Yes, yep.
I think they're talking about Tony's Shoe Repair. And I must say, you know, I have quite a few shoes in my closet that I'm just putting them aside, waiting for Vince to reopen. Vince bought it from, excuse me. Vince bought the business from Tony, who sadly passed away. And then unfortunately, Vince had a terrible fire in the building, which destroyed his dry cleaning and his shoe repair business. And he was also living upstairs. So we are trying to get the building permits for him. He's now dealt with all of the insurance issues. And, you know, we're helping him with building permits to hopefully get him back up and running and open. So, you know, folks, please, again, be patient. Anyone who's been through a fire, it is just so traumatizing to anyone to go through that fire, to not only lose your home, but you've lost your business. And now the insurance company has been working with him, and we're just trying to get him up to speed really fast.
Anything else you want to add that you're hearing from residents that you want to tell people about?
Well, I want to talk about parks. So I have good news on parks, some good news on parks, some frustrating news on parks, but I'm going to start with the dog park. Okay. So yes, we will be getting a dog park. It will be in the fall. That's what we're projecting so far, and it will be at Joe Sam's. So right off the lower parking lot, there is an open area, which is not a defined soccer field or baseball field. It's just an open area, a grassed area. So we will be putting in a dog park, which will have a space for large dogs and a space for small dogs that will be separated. Okay, we just want to keep everybody safe, make sure everybody's comfortable going there with their fur babies. So that will be happening. I'm also now going to go over to Mountain View. So Mountain View subdivision, the phase 3 has been approved. And Agro Park was done 2 years ago. It's a 5-acre park on the extreme west end of Mountain View. And now we're going to be doing, or the developer is going to be doing the park beside St. Thomas School. And, you know, the folks in there have been waiting an awfully long time. And the school itself,
Not
absolutely.
as long as Nisbet.
I'm getting to Nesbitt. I'm getting to Nesbitt. I know you're
Sorry.
chomping at the bit, and so are a lot of people. Yeah, so St. Thomas School, they're supposed to do that this fall. They've been promising it for, again, 3 years. And you know, I'm really hamstrung by the developers because they own that property. The city doesn't own the property. It's still under development. So that's going to be done. Let me go down to Gatesbury. Gatesbury is getting a beautiful new upgrade. We are putting in a paved pathway similar to Waterdown Memorial Park. We'll go all around the park, join all the amenity locations together, and there will be exercise stations done along that paved pathway. And I believe they're getting a new playground as well. And the paved walkway will go right from the parking lot, both parking lots, and join everything together. I'm happy about that. So the next one, Mountain View, I talked about that. Mattamy, they did get their 5-acre park 2 years ago in the Mattamy subdivision off Spring Creek. Nesbitt, now I'll talk about Nesbitt. So Nesbitt is where the bypass section has been built from Wimberley over to Babcock. And the next section, which is currently under construction, is from Babcock to Center Road. And within that is that massive, ugly mound of dirt that is just getting smaller and being spread out a bit. But what is going to happen is they're going to use some of that to build the bypass. When that section of the road is complete, the next thing that they've told me they're going to do, and they've been saying this for 9 years now, but I'm hopeful that the next thing they're going to do is build that park. And half of the park is where the water tower is on Nesbitt. Half of a small section of the park is in front. The majority of the park is where that mound of dirt is and where there will be more homes built. And so, you know, initially they said we can't do the park until we finish all the homes. And it's been to the OMB, it's been tied up, you know, legalities, and finally we're at that point where they are finishing the bypass. I am very, very hopeful that they will have that park built by next summer, which is 2021.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
And you know what? I feel for the people there. It has been extremely frustrating. It's been frustrating for me because I've been having these conversations and getting these promises for a long time. But now they're at a point where they really don't have a lot left to do. They can get it done. And so the expectation is that they do get it done. A couple of other parks. We have the park at Sadie Lou. This is another one, another situation. Off Parkside Drive, you have a piece of open field between Mosaic and Sadie Lou. And if you go up Sadie Lou to the top, there is supposed to be a 5-acre park that takes in that subdivision and also the open field. The developer that owns that open field, originally when they developed the park, the developers all worked together to do these subdivisions, put their plans in, and the park was going to be a joint park. So, you know, it would be a 5-acre park, and one developer would build one half and the other developer would build the other half. And then the developer, where all the open spaces, decided that they want to develop everywhere else in Vaughan. They're, you know, got tons going on in North Toronto, and they have not wanted to build in Waterdown or started to build in Waterdown. And they've given us absolutely no assurances that they're even going to start. So I do not see that part going in. A very small portion of it is within the subdivision off Sadie Lou. And again, the people in there are extremely frustrated. I'm frustrated. Developer won't even talk to us anymore. There's nothing we can do. The city doesn't own the land. It is privately owned land. So, you know, I don't know what else to tell people. I feel very, very bad about that. There's another park over on Rockcliffe. which is Rockcliffe Park rather, that is on Ryan's Way. That is going to be getting a new play structure, and there will be some improvements done to that park. There is also a park over on Grindstone Way, which is just off of Rockcliffe, and they have just gotten a new play structure. It's now finished, and we are looking at doing a little bit of a paved pathway for that park. That won't be until the next year's budget. So, you know, again, there's lots going on. And I think that's it in terms of parks.
I forgot to ask, why is the parking lot for the Bruce Trail closed on Waterdown Road? You know where
So that's part of COVID, and the Conservation Authority and the Bruce Trail. Those parking lots are still closed.
Because it was open for a while and then it closed again.
Right. Yes. So the parking lots themselves are closed. The open areas are open, but again, if you park your car anywhere down Mill Street, by that Grindstone waterfall area, it's no parking. You are going to get a $250 ticket if you park there. So please do not park there. And we brought in those heavy parking fines because people were parking, and it was creating very much a safety hazard.
Other parking lots are open though. Why that one is closed? Is it just because it's so like 1,000 people park in one space? Is that
it's
why?
Very, very small.
Yeah. It's
very, very small. And you know, I don't see how anybody could do any physical distancing in a parking area that is that small. And, you know, we tend to get hundreds of people that converge on these poor little parks. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult for the residents that live around there to have to deal with that. So I hope that's a little bit helpful. I do want to mention as well the secondary plan. So the secondary plan, which I've talked about before in the core of Waterdown, where we are looking for residents to give us feedback on how they would like to see the town of Waterdown developed. We did have that meeting back in October. We had over 200 people attend. Lots of great information came in. We are working with, and have been for a year and a half now, working with a task force of residents from the Waterdown secondary plan area. There's 15, I believe. And so we're having a virtual meeting to present some preliminary plans to them, get some more input from them, and then we will be doing a virtual public feedback meeting, if you will, that will be heavily promoted through my e-news. So if you're not already getting my e-news, please go to my website, judipartridge.ca, that's Judy with an I, and click on to e-news, and you will get an update on that. We're also going to put it in the Flamborough Review. It'll be posted on Facebook, posted on Twitter, how to participate in that virtual meeting. And it will be promoted for 2 weeks. We'll have a 2-week time frame that people will be able to go onto the website on Hamilton, a specific website for the secondary plan, go through it, make your comments, and send in an email to a specific email, because we do want to give people the opportunity to give their feedback on what they would like to see in their town in terms of development.
Speaking of secondary plans, somebody specifically came up to me. If they own some of that land and we're starting the process for the condo development there, is that on hold, and could that change?
So I'm glad you raised that, actually. Any development that is currently underway is continuing in that process. There are no large developments within the core area other than the ones that I mentioned, the retirement home and the condo on Hamilton Street. But there is nothing in the core area other than the bridal shop that's being built that is in. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, council supported a motion I brought forward to put an interim control bylaw in place for the entire core of Waterdown. And that prohibits any applications from being accepted and considered for any development along within the boundaries of the secondary plan area, which is the entire downtown core, all the way up to Parkside, all the way over to, I believe it's Hawksview Plaza, and out to the east end to First Street. So it's a very large area, and that interim control bylaw is good for a year and a half. I wanted to put that in place because I want our residents to be able to have a say in the secondary plan, so that when all of that takes place and the secondary plan then comes to council for us to approve, residents know exactly what is going to happen in terms of development within Waterdown. So I didn't want anybody coming in and putting in an application for a 10-story building in the center of Waterdown. And if that application comes in and there is no interim control bylaw, staff have to process that application within the legislation from the province. And I would never approve a 10-story building in downtown Waterdown. So it's not going to happen. And happily, residents will be able to participate in that.
Thank you very much for your time.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
Very quickly, very quickly. So there is, I'm happy to support and endorse a Dream It, Be It career support opportunity for young girls. And it's for all girls in grades 9 to 12. It's on my website. I have posted it on Facebook, and I will be putting it in my next e-news, which will go out next week. And I have a poster here, which is very hard to see, so I'm not going to hold it up. But it's put on by Seroptimus International, which is a fabulous women's group, and they're very supportive of anything that is mentoring and empowering for young girls. And this particular seminar, it's a lot of fun. There's keynote speakers. You're going to get important information. There's workshops. You can get a certification for WHMIS, which is important. Ask your parents what WHMIS is. And also for food service. So, you know, if you can dream it, you can be it. I really encourage young women and moms and dads to talk to their daughters. Sean,
yeah,
you have a daughter, young daughter. It's free. Everybody can sign up and really, you know, enjoy being part of this. I love our young women and young men and all of the youth in our area. And this is a career support event. So if you have no idea what you want to be, certainly I didn't when I was in high school. There's a lot of information coming at you. This is specifically for young girls. So you can sign up. They'll speak your tone, your voice, and give you information.
When is it?
It's, oh, sorry, thank you. It's this Saturday, June the 27th. And it's from 10:15 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. And the website to free registration, yeah, you can pre-register. Again, that is on Facebook right now and on my e-news and on my website. But I really encourage everybody. And thank you so much, Sean. This has been terrific.
My pleasure. We'll see you again in 3 weeks.
Yes, and everybody, please, if you have questions, contact my office. Christine and Veronica and I've been in City Hall every day. There's nobody here. I don't have rural internet connectivity, so that's a whole other discussion we can have. But without having the internet connectivity, and we are so busy, and I'm in here, I'm getting a ton of work done. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to all the residents. So thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Councillor. Have a good afternoon almost.
Okay, bye everybody. Take care.
Bye.